DesignerLogic makes it easy to export transactions like proposals, invoices, and purchase orders and bring them into dedicated accounting apps like QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, and Xero. In this video, we'll go over setting up this process with QuickBooks Online. First thing you want to do is go to the admin menu and click on Manage Account. And here we want to check QuickBooks Online from the choices for exporting. Click Update to save it. And before we do the actual exporting and importing, we want to go over a few things. One is the project names in DesignerLogic need to be the exact same spelling as the customer names are in QuickBooks. For example, we have the spelling here, and you want to make sure that even the commas and semicolons and things like that are exactly the same as your customer name in QuickBooks. Otherwise, it'll create a duplicate customer if the spelling's not exactly the same. Now, if you don't have the customer in QuickBooks yet, when you do the actual importing, it'll create that customer for you so you don't have to enter it manually. The same applies to the suppliers in DesignerLogic. You can go to your supplier list and you can download these lists as well. You want to make sure that the spelling here is exactly the same as the spelling in your vendors list. And here we have all of our vendors, and we can make sure that the spelling is exactly the same. Another thing with QuickBooks Online is that it uses a location now for getting sales tax rates for invoices and estimates. So if you go to the taxes section in QuickBooks Online, and you have to enable the location-based tax setting to get sales taxes in QuickBooks Online now. So do that, and then here you can see all of your sales tax information. If you go to sales tax settings, you can see that we have a couple sales taxes in here that we put in. It's good to have these in here for your customers so you can have the actual tax rates for your specific customer in QuickBooks Online. Now how that looks in QuickBooks Online is if you come back to your customer list and you go to one of your customers and you open it up and edit it, you'll see down here we have the tax rate for that customer. So you want to set that just so that the invoice, if for some reason it can't find the location, you can get the tax rate for an invoice or an estimate from your customer, essentially. So you want to make sure that's set up in QuickBooks Online. Now that you have that set up in QuickBooks Online, if you go back to DesignerLogic and you want to make sure that the tax location is correct for your project. So if you go to a project and you hover over the three-dot menu and you click on the Edit Project Details link, that opens up the edit page for this project. And if we scroll down, you'll see that we have this Edit Tax Address. And if you click on that, that's going to open up the tax, street, city, state, and postal code. This is what QuickBooks Online uses to look up the tax rate for this location when you import an invoice or an estimate. So you want to make sure that this address is exactly the correct address for the sales tax that you want to get in QuickBooks. In DesignerLogic, you can very easily just set a tax rate, for example, down here, and this will always use this tax rate. But QuickBooks Online uses this location, so you have to make sure this location is actually correct for importing into QuickBooks Online. And now that we've clarified a couple of those little issues, we want to go back over to QuickBooks and we want to get the actual importer that does the importing into QuickBooks. So we go to the Apps section of QuickBooks Online, and we want to find this app that we use here called SaaSant, and it is this little program right here. Click on that. And it's going to walk you through a few things. You can look at it, but basically this app is for importing CSV files of all kinds into QuickBooks Online. It's a really great little app, has good support, and it'll make things very easy for you. So click on Get App Now. And we want to just connect it to our QuickBooks account. Now that you have SaaSant connected as an app in QuickBooks, you're ready to use it. So in QuickBooks, go down to the App section, and you'll see your SaaSant app listed right here. Click on Launch, and that's going to open up the SaaSant dashboard. Now, the one thing you want to do before you start importing is check in the settings up here. We go to Settings, and most of these settings you can leave as they are. You definitely want to leave this here set to the default because you want to create new vendors and customers when you do the import if they're not automatically there. And then leave the date format the same because that's what date format DesignerLogic is going to use. Now you can click through these and see different things, but almost all of them you want to just leave as they are. But the product and services one, you want to come over here and you want to decide which category you want some of these things to be in when it creates a new product. In QuickBooks, you might want to put it under service. Under here, on the income account, you might want it to become part of sales. On the expense account, you might want to choose something like cost of goods sold. If you don't already have your products and services set up in QuickBooks, the import will create them for you automatically and put them under these categories right here. Then just hit save, and you've saved all those settings. And so when you're ready to do new import, you want to come over to this new import link right here, and you're going to see this import dashboard, and click through the first time. A couple things will bring you these choices here. And for transactions, you just click on this link right here, and that's going to take you to this page where you can import all these different kinds of things, including invoices and estimates. And we'll have separate videos that show you exactly how to do that.